The worst advice I ever got was really subtle, and it came from a lot of different people. And it was just this expectation, I think, that it wouldn't work. There was a lot of like, oh, you're so brave. And I totally appreciate where that is coming from, but also at the same time, like, everything that we are now making is only possible because we took that first leap. I think there are also risks of not taking a bet on yourself like that. Hi, my name is Cleo Abram. I make a show called Huge If True, which is a very optimistic show about science and technology and the future that we can all build. And the reason why I make that show is because I really believe that if people see versions of better futures, they'll help build them. I come from a background in media. I worked at a media company for a long time. I've made streaming shows, and our show is very highly produced and beautiful, and we think a lot about how to best explain something complicated to millions of people who might enjoy it and learn from it. And so what makes the content different and I think special is it's both at the same time very in-depth and very highly produced, and also at the same time very personal. So I am taking people on a journey with me to help understand quantum computers or supersonic planes or the deep ocean or outer space, et cetera, et cetera. I was a journalist working at a media company, and I was really missing something from my own media diet. I really wanted to see where were the stories about how we were trying to use science and tech to make the world better? Where was the optimism in our approach to journalism and the future? And so I set out to make the show that I really wanted to watch. It really is that simple. And I was wondering, do other people also feel like they're missing in their media diet something that is more optimistic and more intentionally showing you ways in which people are trying to help so that you can potentially participate? I think people sometimes wonder if optimistic is the same as positive. What we try and do is explore how a technology could be used to make all of our lives actually better. And so we think about what are the ways in which this could go wrong. We talk to the world-leading experts. We try to explore what would we need to do, really, both the experts and also you and me as the people who might consume that technology or pay for it through taxes, or we're all participating in the future that we're all headed for. And what I really try and think about is how can I help people help it go right? The main way that our content has changed over the last couple years, and we've only been running this show for a fairly short time, is that it's just gotten so much better. It really is just the act of building a team, hiring people that are better than me at the part of the job that they do, being able to finally realize more and more of this vision of this show that I had, by myself when I started out, and I was trying to figure out what does it mean to make a journalistically rigorous, highly produced, joyful, television quality show on YouTube. And now, of course, we're seeing YouTube is the most watched streaming service on television. It's like you're really seeing a big, big change in what it means to make journalism and make great video content in the first place. And I think Huge If True has been an interesting example of that. I was a journalist leaving a media company, going onto YouTube, going independent, trying to see if there was an audience for this very different kind of show that I wanted to make. And then over time, hiring a team and building out an audience that really wanted to see that kind of content. And now it is just the most fun show to make. It is so genuinely joyful and so, I hope, helpful to people understanding what the future is. And also, I hope that it is part of this larger wave of more people making more different kinds of things and getting the opportunity to potentially reach millions of people who want that same thing. I want to do this for a long, long time. It feels absolutely incredible to find the thing that you want to dedicate your life to, and I really feel like Huge If True is the mission that I want to spend decades building. I really believe that if people see these visions of better futures, they become more likely to be able to participate in that. And I think all of us benefit the more people can participate in making the future better. Whether that's you're an engineer, and I get a lot of emails from engineering and science students saying, wow, I didn't know that I could work in this field in this way, maybe I'm gonna go do that. But also, if you're like me and you don't have an engineering background and you simply wanna be able to be aware of the topics and participate in conversation about them and voice what your opinion is about what the future should be, there's also a place for you to do that too. I really believe that there aren't any science and technologies that would affect your life that you can't understand. And I'm not saying that everybody is going to be, a quantum physicist, but I do really think that you can understand what is the difference between a quantum computer and a normal computer, how would it affect my life, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that a lot of the time we underestimate how much people can actually understand and how much they want to and are able to participate in making that future happen. When you're dealing with YouTube comments, the thing that you want to keep in mind is you want to maintain the right thickness of your skin, right? You don't want it to be too thick, actually, because you really do want to be able to receive feedback and learn with your audience and grow together. Like, part of the reason why I make this show is to have a conversation with this incredible audience and learn, like, what do they want to cover? What questions do they have? Where do they think that something could go right or could go wrong? And how can I tell stories that are genuinely what they want to watch, and also how can I push them in ways like, oh, maybe think about this and you weren't thinking about that. And so you really do need to be reading the comments to some extent, but also just trying to stay as kind of sensitive to what they want from you as possible, while at the same time not having too thin skin, because of course if you're making something that millions of people see, millions of people will have an opinion about it, and you have to know, like, no, this is what I set out to make. Like, this is really what I want to do. And so I think the way that I think about it is, like, is my skin at any given moment too thick or too thin, and how do I maintain that? I can only speak for myself personally, but what's really helped me is having a mission, having something that is bigger than me. And so when people are commenting on the show or are, excited to see something or less excited to see something else, like, I do feel like it's a shared project, and I feel like I've created a community where 99.99999% of the time they're talking about the topic or the mission or something that we're all working on together. And it's not really about me, it's about something else, and I'm making content that is trying to meet that mission too. So we're all kind of in it together. That's how I like to think about it. Obviously some of the comments are going to be about you personally, and you just have to take it with a grain of salt, but having that bigger thing that you think about, that you're working toward, that mission, has been really helpful for me to keep in mind. Maybe Natalie Portman? That would be cool.